Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dec, and if you enjoy talking about movies in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. If you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any videos from me. And in today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reviewing a couple of movies that I've seen recently that I have not had the complete time to do full individual reviews on. And also these are films that I don't have massive amounts of feelings for or massive amounts to say about, so I thought I'd just kind of clump them together in this one video. So let's jump into the reviews and let's kick off with the first film. I would like to start off with True History of the Kelly Gang. Now this was a film that I was actually excited about going in because I thought the trailer looked great and I really enjoyed the concept of this movie. I really thought that the Kelly Gang and their movie would be something that would serve as a really interesting film and a really great story. And while I do feel like this film is incredibly well made, I actually think that this film, objectively speaking, is a very great film. I think the cinematography is good. I really liked the score. Like, the score was fantastic. The performances were really good, especially from George Mackay. And also, I cannot remember the actress's name, but she played George Mackay's mother. Every performance in this, Russell Crowe, all really good top-notch stuff. I was really impressed by the technical aspects of this film. I think it was really well handled, it was really well made. I think Justin Cazale did a really good job with directing this. Bit of a shaky director. I mean, he did direct Macbeth, which I've heard is fantastic, but then he did direct Assassin's Creed, which I have seen, which was absolutely god-awful. So, you know, for me, in terms of my experience with Justin Cazale, I only know him as the director of Assassin's Creed, so I went into it with that, and this is a big step up from Assassin's Creed. Again, obviously I know he directed Macbeth and I've heard that's great, but I've not seen Macbeth, so I can't really comment on that. But this was a really great choice to direct this film. I think he did a really good job of handling it. And again, the cinematography that goes along with that is really beautiful. And the score is the big thing in this movie that really stood out to me. However, I just really didn't connect with this film in any way, shape or form. I found it very boring, actually. And I found it very I struggled to actually keep engaged with the film and with the story. I felt like it just didn't do a good job of keeping me hooked on its story. And it's completely personal. It's completely biased. I mean, the person who I saw the film with absolutely loved it, and they thought that it was a really great, engaging film, and they were with it all the way. I was not. I didn't find that connection with it. I just, unfortunately, was not able to get invested in this story and these characters as I hoped that I would. Again, I think technically it's a very well-made film, and I think for a lot of people, they will find a lot to love in this film, and I think some people will really like it, but me personally, I just found it a bit boring. Then we have Underwater. Now, this one is a little bit of a late one, but Underwater, I mean, I went into this expecting a lot of dumb fun. That's what I wanted out of this movie, and that's exactly what it gave me. I mean, Kristen Stewart is really bad in this movie, but in a way, kind of endearing, and I really liked her performance in this. Also, Jessica Henwick from Iron Fist is in this, who I really like. She's really cool, and she's really cool in this as well. TJ Miller, who I've not seen in a while, actually shows up in this movie. I think it's because he was kind of cancelled, but he is in this movie. And I actually find TJ Miller kind of funny, so I thought he was good in this. Vincent Cassel shows up in this movie as well, which is a nice addition. I just think this movie has a really cool, well-rounded cast. And this film, obviously being a horror film that takes place in the bottom of the Mariana Trench, I thought was a really great concept, because one thing for me that's really interesting about the world that we live in is that we don't know about the majority of the ocean that makes up our planet. I mean, the Earth is made up of, like, what, 70% water, maybe even more than that, and we haven't explored, like, 90% of it. Like, that is crazy to me. Like, there's so much of this planet and of this Earth that we've not seen yet, and most of it comes from under the sea. So, the fact that this movie was kind of exploring that idea and playing with that idea, I really enjoy. Like, anytime a film wants to kind of explore the sea and the depths of the ocean, I find that really interesting, because we don't know what's down there, and that's really cool. And this movie really does play on that. Of course, this is a bit more of like a monster film, also while being a horror film, and I think it's really awesome in that way. Now, in terms of its technical aspects, it's not the most well made, the camera work isn't great, the movie's also really dark. Now, the darkness of this film, I'm kind of in two minds about, because on the one hand, you can't see what's going on a lot of the time in this movie. It's really that dark, and you can't see what's happening. But then at the same time, if you think about it, if you're at the bottom of the ocean, at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, where there is no light, it's kind of realistic. So in a way, I'm kind of in two minds about it. Like, from a film perspective, it's kind of bad because I didn't see it, but from a realism perspective, it's actually pretty dead on. So I think that it depends what kind of person you are and what's more important to you. You know, is it the filmmaking or is it the realism? Whatever means more to you, I think will, you know, depend your opinion on that. But I think Underwater, I honestly had a really good time with it. It's not a great film, but it's a fun film. It's a fun watch. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but as a first time watch, I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I thought it was a really good fun. And then finally, the film I saw last night as recording this, Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. Now, this was a film I was looking forward to. I like Blumhouse. I was expecting this to be fun. But this was a real stinker for Blumhouse. Oh, God, I really didn't like this at all. This was just... I mean, to put it in perspective, two groups of people. There was a group of girls and a group of lads. Both of the groups walked out midway through this movie. And these groups weren't together, by the way. These were two separate groups. Just a group of girls on my left and a group of lads further down. They both left halfway through this movie. There was also a woman who was sat behind me who I heard around midway through the movie whisper to whoever she was with, "This is shit." And then at the end of the film, she stood up and said, "Well, there's 2 hours, I'm never getting back." So they are just some general audience reactions that I can give to you guys that I experienced last night. For me, this movie was just... I honestly don't know how to feel about it at sometimes. Like, it's so mind-numbing. And I was really hoping this movie was going to be dumb, because I didn't expect it to be good. Like, the trailer's god-awful. It's Blumhouse. The cast is dreadful. Like, this is the same team who made Truth or Dare, which is god-awful. I didn't know what to expect from this. And I knew what to expect, but I didn't know which way it was kind of going to go in terms of an entertainment perspective. And I came out of it just thinking, that was so boring. Like, it was so boring. It's one of the more boring movies I've seen this year. Like, I said Kelly Gang was boring, and it was. But at least Kelly Gang had some stuff to actually look at and actually had some nice things to it that I could appreciate. Fantasy Island had none of that. Like, Fantasy Island, it was just a stupid, ridiculous horror movie, but it wasn't even memeable. Like, there's nothing memeable about this movie. Like, Truth or Dare at least is memeable. This movie isn't memeable. This movie's just boring, and that was a real shame for me. I kind of went into this expecting it to be better than it was on an entertainment scale, and it just wasn't. It really let me down in that regard. It's really boring, and I was just sat there checking my watch, waiting for the movie to end. It's far too long as well. This movie does not need to be nearly 2 hours, but it decides to stretch itself out to 1 hour 50, I think it is. Absolutely ridiculous. Does not need to be that. It should have been an hour and a half, but they decided to kick the boot in. I just really did not like what this movie did. I thought it was really just dull and flat and had nothing original to it. Of course, it's like the third version of Fantasy Island, and I just couldn't be bothered with it. I couldn't be fucked. I just thought this movie was really poor, and I just was... Again, I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And I was really, really underwhelmed, and I was just so tired by the end of it, I just want to go to bed. So anyway, guys, they are all the films that I saw recently that I have not had time to do individual reviews on. Which ones have you seen? Have you seen Kelly Gang? Have you seen Underwater? Have you seen Fantasy Island? If you've seen any of them, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me, or do you disagree? Let's have a friendly discussion in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos, just like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. I've got a couple of really cool videos coming up. I've got a spoiler cast for Altered Carbon Season 2 coming up, and I will also have a couple other cool videos here and there, so make sure you don't miss out on those. And I hope to see you guys again next time.